Hey, it's Mazzy here. Welcome back to the channel. This is a Record Store Day Black Friday Postmortem. And I woke up this morning, I swear I felt a little jet lag. Jet lag from getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, an hour before I set my alarm and hanging out. But I tell you, I had a wonderful day. And you can criticize Black Friday, you can piss on it, you can throw a tantrum, you can say it's not fair, it's a cash grab, whatever you want to say. Some stores love it, some stores don't. But I had a great time. I met up with two of my friends. As you saw, if you have seen the big video of yesterday, the day, where I literally sat at the cafe at the KEXP communal cafe spot in Seattle, editing the film on my iPhone. Yes, I edit on iMovie. No fancy schmancy post-production in this presenter's world. And posted it and had a great time. And we had coffee with Joey Callio and Kimbo, and we met a bunch of other people. Russ was there, and he was filming behind the scenes things for his channel, and just people I've met who watch the channel, and I really appreciate that. And last night, I went back to another record store, but not really because of Record Store Day, but I went to Easy Street Records in West Seattle, probably the more communal neighborhood shops where they have live music sometimes, basically in stores. And they had Jessie Sykes there last night, and I'll get to that in a second, because she released her first album in something like, I don't know, 14, 15 years on Record Store Day, and it was a record store release, and I urge you to check it out. So I have 7 records here that I want to show you that I've listened to, all but one. Now, these are totally separate than the presentation that I did, the advanced copies I did get from labels. There's no jazz here. The Bob Dylan is not here, although I love that. And go to Easy Street Records. At the end of this, I might just put a little flip clip of how many friggin' copies they had there. Some think it's unfair that one store gets so many copies of a title and some get very few. That's a conversation I hope to have. I've been talking to Matt from Easy Street Records, and I think in a few weeks, hopefully, if we can get our schedules together, we're going to do another postmortem on a Record Store Day from his take, from a record store's independent record store point of view. And they're a high volume store compared to a lot, so they probably get more copies. They order a lot copies, and so they tend to have many copies of records. So that's a separate video, but I want to talk about the music here because I listened to all these except one, literally all day today. And I am going to start out with that Jessie Sykes record. Jessie Sykes and the Sweet Hereafter, Forever I've Been Being Born. I first got turned on to her maybe 15 years ago by my friend Brooks, Jazz Shit Brooks, who saw her maybe in South by Southwest or on tour. And I got the CDs at the time. Later, I finally, when I moved to Seattle, found copies of the records. Those records are hard to get. Jessie Sykes and the Sweet Hereafter. And she's got a little bit of a slow-core, folky, psychedelic vibe. She's got this almost vibrato, a strong voice, yet very ethereal voice. And there's a certain emotion to it that is very interesting, and you have to accept that vocal style to like. It's very reverb drenched, and this is the first album she's done in a long time. I've been following her and seeing her live several times because she's been touring with the Third Mind, Dave Alvin's kind of creative outfit that's a mix of psychedelic and blues, and all those various musicians from Camper Van Beethoven and other bands that do these wonderful covers of things like the Paul Butterfield Blues Band and Morning Dew and Electric Flag. Spit it out, man. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Again, I'm jet lagged. But this was released for Record Store Day, and she did an in-store last night at 7 o'clock, and I saw her perform. It was packed. Apparently, she has Seattle roots. Apparently, she lived here for a while. Her and I guess her partner, husband, and they did a combination of electric and acoustic. She plays acoustic and sings. Reverb drenched, really moody, kind of freak folk in a way, psychedelic. But I tell you, check this record out. I'm sure it's easily available because it's not something that was on a lot of people's radar. Jessie Sykes and The Sweet Hereafter on Southern Lord Records. Black Friday. Interesting, releasing a new first record on this day, although it'll probably be there and hopefully it'll expand and build a bigger audience. And she will continue to tour with The Third Mind. So kind of a cool record, but audition it, check it out. I'm sure you can stream it somewhere first and see if it's your thing. But I'm a big fan. I remember when I first heard the CDs years ago, there was a little bit of a Grace Slick vibe. Not that belting out style of Grace Slick she does when she kind of gets all, atonal and Middle Eastern different belts, but more the kind of slow things like Lather and that period, Triad, that period of Jefferson Airplane and Grace Slick. Next, something I wanted on vinyl. It has been issued over the years on vinyl, but it hasn't been available for a long time, even the reissue. 30 years ago, the debut of Sunvolt. This is a wonderful band. Of course, Jay Farrar's band when he splits with Jeff Tweedy. Wilco's A&M comes out the beginning of 1995. This comes out in the fall. Pretty much sister labels, I guess, Reprise, Warner's. Is that right? But Rhino has them. Rhino, of course, did the Rhino High Fidelity of the Wilco debut, which is fabulous. Don't sleep on that. But this is excellent. I never had it on vinyl. I have the CD. It's alt country, country rock. I would say out of the two, this is the better debut, but they're both excellent records. This is a double record set because it has a few extra cuts on here, a couple of demos and maybe B-sides, I guess. But I only listened to the proper album, haven't listened to the extra disc on this beautiful kind of mauve-y, purpley vinyl. Vinyl records, well pressed. I bought this yesterday at Silver Platters. That's where we met initially. We went to, where else did we go? Well, last night I said I went to Easy Treat Records and went to Royal Records. Don't sleep on that place. That doesn't get as much love in the Seattle world unless you are living here. Check it out, Royal Records by Queen Anne by Seattle Center. And that's it. I want to say it's the secret place. I shouldn't tell people, but we went there when they opened at 8:15, I think 8:20 we got there. And they had everything, including the really rare items that a couple of us wanted. So Royal Records, highly recommended. I think I want to go back and do a feature on them sometimes, or a mini feature from my end. And when we were at the gathering space at KXP, that cafe at the end of the day, there is a pop-up. It used to be Light in the Attic pop-up little store there. And at least till the end of the year, Sub Pop is running it. And they had one bin, the record store day, Black Friday stuff. And I picked up one more album, and that's this band album. This is the 1993, I want to say reunion, but it's the next progression of the band. Of course, JRRR, Jamie Robbie Robertson, no longer with the band. Last Waltz was kind of his brainchild to kind of end it, the road thing. And obviously over the years past that Last Waltz, there was not a great love between each other. And it happens with bands for a lot of reasons. I don't want to litigate that again. Read Lee Von Helm's book, and you can probably read other books that tell different sides of that story. Of course, Robbie Robertson wrote almost all the songs. So, of course, he gets the publishing and the royalties and more money it comes down to. And this is when they get back, obviously. This is when Lee Von Helm, Rick Danko, Garth Hudson, and then some other musicians get together and do this album. The first album since the Islands album. Southern Cross was really the last, Northern Lights, Southern Cross, the last proper band album. And then Islands after the Last Waltz was the kind of a hodgepodge of things. But this is a really cool record. This is a cover painting by the pop artist Peter Max. This is double 45, 2 LPs. Now, those of you who watch me know I'm not a fan of double 45s, but remember, this is the CD era. I know this album, I've had it on CD since it came out pretty much. And Lee Von Helm and Rick Danko do most of the vocals. And Richard Manuel, actually. There is one vocal, even though he had passed away. There's one recording with him singing on it. So you do have the full band experience. Remember with the band, Robbie hardly sang. Didn't sing lead at all. He did harmonies and stuff, but he was the writer. So obviously the band material, the songs during the heyday of the band are really the killer tracks here. But here they do two great covers. Fantastic cover of Atlantic City, Bruce Springsteen song from Nebraska. Levon Helm sings it on here, and it's just a wonderful version. And they sing Blind Willie McTell, a Dylan song. Of course, the band always would throw in a Dylan song in their first album. There's 1993 liner notes from the CD from that day. But since it is double 45, it's because the length of the CD was a long, hour or so album. So you have to cut it up one way or another. So in that case, I'm not against double 45s because you're not cutting the flow, because the flow is actually already the CD. So I guess if you want to be succinct about it, you are cutting the flow from the compact disc to vinyl. Beautiful, kind of a deep blue. And this sounds great. It's a very dynamic, wonderfully cut. The band, only 1,000 copies were pressed of this. And I had one, and I just had this hankering. I didn't put it on my list. It wasn't initially on my radar exactly, but of course I love the band. I did attend the Last Waltz. I saw the band 3 times prior to the Last Waltz, and I think it's time for a big resurrection. Of course, next year will be the 50th anniversary of the Last Waltz, and that Northern Southern album just was put out on vinyl file. The vinyl file, is that the name of the archival audiophile release from Universal Music? Now, one that a lot of people were wanting was this. Curtis, this is a Rhino Reserve. These are beautifully cut by Matt Luthans. This is an excellent pressing. Now, I didn't compare it. I do have, was it the Run Up Groove, the last one? I didn't do a comparison, but this sounds incredible, so I don't know if I need that. Was that the double one with extra? I can't remember now, but I'll check that out later. Too much stuff happening and too much music to listen to do shootouts. This is about the music, enjoying the music. Curtis, I guess it's his debut solo album, and it's a wonderful album. Of course, Curtis Mayfield. And the interesting surprise thing about this, even though it's wonderfully well pressed at Fidelity Pressing Plant, I think one of the best pressing plants in the country right now, with that custom Rhino Reserve logo. These sell for $32, $33 usually. I'm surprised they put this out as a limited record store day issue, because people really want this album. And it just seems it should be one of the reserves. Maybe they'll do a different edition of it, because remember, even though something's limited, there can be different editions. But this is wonderful. Great music, obviously, first, but the pressing and the cut is really, really tasty. Now, one of them that I played and I blasted, I want to say this is a surprise, but out of the box, in one level, in one sort of parallel universe, this is my favorite release. And I blasted this twice. Last night, before I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. And then I put it on this morning. It's not really a morning album. And this is Radio Retaliation by the Thievery Corporation. Now, I have 2 of their previous releases from Record Store Day. Of course, this is the DC duo that, DJs, mixologists, no, that would be cocktail makers, but they're really part of that whole beat music, almost like Buddha Bar, and they do mashups, and they do a lot of Indian classical music, and they take a reggae and dub and do these fantastic records. They're like club party records. This is a beautiful, beautiful record. I'm going to insert here a picture of the poster, because I'm not going to take it out here. It's an amazing double-sided poster. The records itself are double records. It's 2 LPs. This beautiful green vinyl. Poly, kind of a brown sleeve with a poly insert. This sounds amazing. Deep bass, not bloated, wonderful mids. This is a really cool record on a decent system. You power it up and you blast this mother effer, and it is incredible. Again, one of my favorites. I mean, again, I played this twice so far, literally in less than 24 hours, and this is a wonderful record. This is, again, Thievery Corporation, Radio Retaliation, their most political album. It's very political. You have all these guests like Femi Kuti from Nigeria, Sujord from Brazil, Anushka Shankar from India, Chuck Brown from DC, Sleepy Wonder from Jamaica, And there's a few other people. There's Varney Varela from Colombia. So there's obviously a Southern America vibe to it also. So you got this world music. World music is the essence with this dance electronic vibe on here. Lulu from Iran too. This is incredible, incredible record. If that description, just makes you wet, check this out. But also check their last two. Some people prefer the last, the two albums prior to this, but this is incredible. I think the trio of albums so far on Record Store Day. This was on my list from the beginning, and it did not disappoint. Thievery Corporation, not disappointing at all. The Love Box. I only played one track on this. This was pretty much my number one request, my number one want. This is, 5 records? These are the 5 records here. And from Elektra Records, there is one LP of rarities on here. And this was like $99 for 5 records, which is pretty good for a Rhino set. Limited, unfortunately, but like everything is limited. But who knows? Maybe it'll come back, or they'll do sort of reserve, Rhino Reserve individual titles. I have no clue, no inside information. But that great LA band, just great music. Now, this is the one I have not opened yet and I haven't played. And this is Craig Smith. The story, you saw all of us holding this album up. 3 of us got this album. This is totally small press. 400 copies have been pressed for this release. Long-winded story. I think in that last video, Joey tells the story in my Record Store Day video. Basically, he was a singer, I guess, writer, musician on the Andy Williams show in the 60s. So it comes from that, and then he went on to be a singer-songwriter, put this stuff up, and he kind of had certain breakdowns and drug issues and homelessness, and put out these kind of crazy, freaky albums, and 2 of them are in this set. It's amazing they only issued 400 worldwide, and 3 of us got it. Kimbo put it on his list. I put mine on the list, and Joey put it on the list when we did the checkout at Silver Platters, and only Kimbo got a copy. He was 3rd in line. We were 4th and 5th in line. So they only had 1 copy in the store. We go to Royal Music. They had 2 copies. Joey saw one on the wall, and in the bin there was the other one, and so we each got one, and that's the only time we saw it. Probably the rarest record on Record Store Day when you think about it. And it's one of those records, yes, it's one of the records it wasn't at the top of my radar. There's a psychedelic freak folk feel. I don't even know if this is in the Acid Archive, that book. It seems like the kind of title that would be in that book. I mean, just look at this. I think my picture was next to him in my high school yearbook. It kind of looks like something that would be in a high school yearbook in the late 1970s, early 70s or something. Anyway, that's the Record Store Day Postmortem. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the music. This is great. There are other great stuff too I haven't really got into yet. Handful of albums and all the things I got initially. But that Dylan record, man, that is worth it if you're a Dylan freak. And there are a lot of copies out there. So don't sweat it. Don't overpay for those kind of things because they're out there at, I think, normal prices, unless someone is gouging you. But check it out, and thanks for watching. Put your comments below. And thanks to all the love this past year. As he loves you.